Hey guys, welcome to Principles of Training. What makes training work? There are essentially 5 principles of training, and these must be utilised to make sure training is effective in producing results. The first one of these is overload. The overload principle. Training needs to go over and above normal loads, duration, or frequency experienced by the person. That's why walking around all day isn't training for us because we do it often. However, if we had to walk around all day with a 20-kilo bag, that would go over and above the load we normally carry and therefore would produce some overload. Or if we had to sprint everywhere instead of walking, that would increase overload for us and bring about some change in our fitness. In a training sense, lifting the same weight over a period of week or months won't cause overload because we get used to it. Obviously you need to increase the weight that you are lifting if you are lifting weight frequently, enough so that you can stimulate growth. You need to ask your body to do more and more as you get used to it, and that's what overload is. Then the next principle is specificity. Training must be specific to the performance situation. That means you need to train how you intend to play. The closer you can make your training situations to the actual performance, the better. For example, if you're training for a rowing competition, rowing would be the most specific form of training, and therefore you should focus on that. You probably wouldn't bother doing much running or kickboxing or other forms of training. Rowing would be the most specific and therefore probably the most valuable. Training needs to be specific to the goals of the athlete. So that means, for example, if an athlete plans to improve his running endurance, the athlete should do low-intensity training over a long period of time, as opposed to sprint training or rock climbing or anything like that. The training needs to be quite specific to what you plan on improving. Recovery is the next training principle. People need time to recover from work, such as training or a game. It is in this time that your body recovers and adapts to the stresses placed upon it in an intense workout or game. This could be like a 1-minute rest between sets, as pictured by the woman on the left, or it might be a day's recovery between training, as pictured on the right. Different types of training have a variety of rest periods associated with them. Following these associated guidelines allows for very accurate recovery, maximizing performance and minimizing injury. You may like to take a look at the supercompensation link as shown in the pop-up box. Adaptation is another training principle. This relates to the body's ability to program muscles to remember particular movements. By repeating a skill or activity, the body gets used to the stress and patterns of movement, which therefore makes the skill easier. When you first try an activity, you might find it physically exhausting, and some soreness around the muscles involved may follow. After a period of training, however, adaptation occurs, which means the body becomes more used to the movements and muscles involved in the sport, which results in the person performing the skill with ease. Reversibility is the 5th and final principle of training. So that's basically use it or lose it. People lose effects of training when they stop training for a period of time. That being said, periods of recovery are obviously quite necessary. On the left you'll see a picture of a bloke who stopped training for a while, and the effects of reversibility are evident. It may also happen during injury or illness, which prevents you from training. Okay, so those are the 5 principles of training. Thank you.